My nephew shoved me into the Christmas tree and called me a selfish old man, demanding I sign over my lake house. So, I pulled out my phone and showed him the video I'd been recording for the past 20 minutes. The look on his face was priceless. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It started 6 months earlier, right after my wife, Linda, passed away, 52 years of marriage, and then she was gone. Cancer. We built our retirement dream together. A modest lake house on Lake Michigan, fully paid off after decades of careful saving. Nothing fancy, just 3 bedrooms, a dock, and a view that made every penny worth it. I'm Robert, 67 years old, retired accountant. Spent 30 years helping small businesses keep their books clean. You learn a lot about human nature when you see how people handle money. You also learn to document everything. The lake house was supposed to be our golden years. Linda and I had planned to host the grandkids every summer, teach them to fish, watch the sunsets together. She never got that chance. After the funeral, I threw myself into maintaining the property. It gave me purpose. The dock needed repairs. The roof had some shingles to replace. I kept busy. That's when my nephew Marcus started calling. Uncle Rob. Hey, just checking in on you, he'd say, his voice dripping with concern that felt rehearsed. Ashley and I were talking and were worried about you being out there all alone. Marcus, 34 years old, my sister Carol's only son. I'd helped pay for his college education when Carol was going through her divorce. Loaned him money for his wedding, signed his first car loan. He'd always been charming, always knew the right things to say. His wife Ashley was cut from the same cloth. All smiles when she wanted something. I'm managing fine, I'd tell him, keeping busy. But it's such a big place for one person, he'd press. Have you thought about downsizing, moving into something more manageable? Code for give up your home and your independence. I like it here, I said. Linda and I picked this place together. I'm not going anywhere. There was a pause then. Right, of course. Just want what's best for you, Uncle Rob. The calls became more frequent. So did the visits. Marcus and Ashley started dropping by to check on me every couple of weeks. They'd walk through the house commenting on how much work it must be to maintain, how the stairs must be getting hard for me, how isolated it was from town. You could get a nice condo closer to us, Ashley would suggest, her hand on my arm like we were old friends. Wouldn't it be easier? No yard work, no maintenance. I'd smile and change the subject, but I noticed things. The way Marcus would pause in certain rooms, his eyes calculating. The way Ashley took photos of the view, the kind of photos you'd use in a real estate listing. The way they'd exchange glances when I mentioned how much the property had appreciated over the years. I'm an accountant. I know when someone's running numbers. 3 months before Christmas, things escalated. Marcus showed up unannounced on a Saturday morning. I was out on the dock, coffee in hand, watching the sun rise. Uncle Rob, we need to talk. He sat down beside me without waiting for an invitation. About what? About being practical. He gestured at the house. This place is worth what? 700,000, 800. I haven't had it appraised recently. Right, but ballpark. That's a lot of equity just sitting here, and you're here alone getting older. I'm 67, Marcus, not 90. I know. He held up his hands. I'm just saying. Ashley and I have been thinking. We'd like to help you out. Help me out how we could move in, help with the maintenance, keep you company. It's a 3-bedroom house. Plenty of room. I sat down my coffee. You want to move into my house with you? He corrected quickly. It'd be good for everyone. You wouldn't be alone. We'd help with expenses. I don't need help with expenses. Well, sure, but think about it. Ashley's pregnant. He said it like he was revealing a magic trick. We're going to need more space. My condo is tiny, and you've got this whole house just sitting here. My first grandnephew. I should have felt joy. Instead, I felt a chill. Congratulations, I said carefully. But this is my home, Marcus. I'm not looking for roommates. His smile tightened. Roommates, right? I thought we were family. We are family. That doesn't mean you helped me with college, the wedding. I thought you cared about me. There it was. The guilt trip. The implication that if I really loved him, I'd give him what he wanted. I do care about you, I said, but this house isn't available. You'll figure something out. Young couples do. He stood up, jaw clenched. Fine, we'll figure it out alone, like we always do. He left without another word. That's when I started documenting everything. Old habits from accounting. Keep records. Maintain files. Never assume good faith. I set up a small notebook, dated each entry, every call, every visit, every request. Nothing elaborate, just facts. I also called my lawyer, Janet Chen. We'd worked together on business client referrals for years. She was sharp, no nonsense, and she'd handled Linda's estate. Janet, hypothetical question, I said during our lunch meeting. If someone wanted to pressure an elderly person to give up their property, what would that look like? She studied me over her reading glasses. Robert, what's going on? I told her about Marcus. The visits, the suggestions, the guilt trips. Classic elder financial abuse pattern, she said immediately. Starts with concern, escalates to coercion. Have there been any threats? Not yet. Just pressure. Document everything. Dates, times, what was said. If it escalates, we'll need evidence. She paused. Has he tried to access your accounts? No. Check anyway. And consider security cameras, not paranoia protection. I took her advice. 2 discrete cameras, one covering the front entrance, one covering the living room, the kind that upload to cloud storage automatically. I didn't tell anyone about them. The next month, Marcus brought reinforcements. My sister Carol showed up with him and Ashley for what they called a family meeting. Carol, 63, my younger sister by 4 years. We'd been close once, especially after our parents died, but she'd always been softer on Marcus, made excuses for him. He's trying his best, she'd say whenever he failed at something or needed more money. They sat in my living room, Marcus in the armchair Linda used to love, Ashley beside him on the couch, Carol perched on the edge like she was ready to mediate. Robert, Carol began, using my full name like she used to when we were kids, and she was tattling to Mom. Marcus told me about your conversation. I think you're being unreasonable. Unreasonable about what? About helping family. Marcus and Ashley need somewhere to live. You have all this space. Carol, this is my home, which you're rattling around in alone, she interrupted. It's too big for one person. You're being selfish. There was that word selfish for not giving away what I'd worked for. I like living here, I said calmly. I'm not rattling around. I'm living my life. A life of what? Marcus jumped in, sitting here alone. Mom's right. You should think about what Linda would want. That crossed a line. Don't bring Linda into this. She'd want you to help family. Ashley added, her hand on her small belly bump. She'd want her great nephew to have a good home. He will have a good home with his parents. Who can provide for him? We're trying to, Marcus snapped, but rent in this area is insane. We can't save for a down payment. Meanwhile, you're sitting on almost $1 million of real estate, $800,000. I corrected automatically. Accountants' habit that you don't even need. You could sell this place, get a nice condo, and help us buy a house. Everyone wins. Carol leaned forward. He's right, Robert. You could set them up and still have plenty for yourself. What are you saving it for? You don't have kids. That stung. Linda and I had wanted children. It never happened. Marcus knew that. They all knew that. I'm saving it for my life, I said quietly, for my security, for my independence, your independence. Marcus laughed bitterly. You mean your isolation? You're out here alone, holding on to a house you can't even maintain properly. I maintain it fine. The gutters are full. The paint's peeling on the north side. How long before you fall off a ladder? Then what? Then I'll hire someone, I said. With what money? Property taxes alone must be eating your retirement. My finances are none of your business. They are when you're being irresponsible. Carol stood up. Robert, I love you, but you're being stubborn. Marcus is right. This house is too much for you. You should think seriously about selling. And if I don't, then you're choosing a house over your family, Marcus said coldly. Your own nephew, your great-nephew will remember that. They left. The cameras caught it all. I called Janet the next morning. They're ramping up, she said after listening to the recording. The guilt, the threats of estrangement, questioning your competency classic playbook. How are you feeling? Angry but clear-headed. Good, stay that way. They may try another approach. Financial institutions, maybe. Has Marcus ever had your account information? Not current accounts. He might have old ones from when I helped him with his car loan. Call your bank. Put alerts on everything. No authorized users except you. And Robert, be prepared for this to get worse before it gets better. She was right. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my bank's fraud department. Someone had tried to add themselves as a joint account holder on my checking account using my name and date of birth. The signature didn't match, so they flagged it. The person who made the attempt, Marcus, he'd gone to a branch in his town, claimed he was helping his elderly uncle manage his affairs, and presented a power of attorney document, a forged power of attorney document. I had the bank send me copies. The signature was a clumsy imitation of mine. The notary stamp was fake. I checked the registration number. Marcus had committed fraud. I sat in my living room looking at those papers and felt something shift. Not anger, resolve. This wasn't about a nephew who needed help anymore. This was criminal. I called Janet. We need to talk. I saw the bank fraud report. She said they sent me a copy per your authorization. Robert, this is felony attempted fraud. You could press charges. What happens if I do? Investigation, possible arrest, trial. If it goes that far, it would destroy his career. He works in insurance, right? That license would be gone. I thought about it. Marcus at 20, grateful for college help. Marcus at 25, promising to pay me back someday. Marcus at 30, charming everyone at Linda's funeral while asking about the estate. When had he changed? Or had he always been this way and I'd been too generous to see it? Hold off on the charges, I said. But document it. I want to see what they do next. Robert, they tried to steal from you. I know, but if I move now, Carol will say it's a misunderstanding. Marcus will cry and apologize. I want them to show their full hand. This is a risky strategy. I'm an accountant, Janet. Risk management is my job. The cameras stayed up. The notebook stayed current. I installed a doorbell camera too. Thanksgiving came and went. I didn't hear from any of them. I spent it with my friend Tom, a retired police detective who'd moved up here 5 years ago. We ate Chinese food and watched football. You're wound pretty tight, Tom observed during halftime. I told him about Marcus, the visits, the fraud attempt, all of it. Tom listened with his cop face on neutral, assessing. You document all this, every word. Video, audio, written notes. Good. What's your play? Let them make the next move. Janet thinks they'll escalate when they realize the fraud didn't work. Probably at Christmas, Tom said. Family gathering, emotional pressure, harder to say no. That's what I'm thinking. Want backup? I can be there. No, but stay close to your phone. December rolled in with lake effect snow. I decorated the house the way Linda always had, real tree. Lights on the porch, wreath on the door. It felt good to honor her traditions. Then I got the call. Carol, bright and fake cheerful. Robert, we haven't seen you in so long. Come to Christmas dinner at your place. Like old times. My place? Well, you have the most room and it's so festive out there. Marcus and Ashley would love to see the lake in winter. I almost said no. Then I thought about Tom's prediction. About Janet's advice to let them show their hand. Sure, I said. Christmas Eve 600, wonderful. We'll bring food. You just relax. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. Not food evidence. I checked every camera angle, made sure the audio was clear, charged every device, updated Janet daily. You're sure about this? She asked. I'm sure if they're going to try something on record. Christmas Eve arrived cold and clear. I set the table, put on a dress shirt, and waited. They arrived at 60:15, arms full of dishes. Carol kissed my cheek. Ashley hugged me, her belly noticeably bigger now. Marcus shook my hand firmly, holding eye contact like we were businessmen sealing a deal. We ate ham, sweet potatoes, green beans. Carol dominated the conversation, reminiscing about childhood Christmases. Marcus complimented the house repeatedly. Ashley took photos. It felt like a performance. I played along. After dinner, we moved to the living room. The Christmas tree glowed in the corner. Presents underneath token gifts they'd brought wrapped in drugstore paper. This is nice, Carol said, settling onto the couch. Having family together. It is? I agreed. Robert, Marcus began, and I heard the shift in his tone. Here we go. We wanted to talk to you about something. A solution that would help everyone. Oh, he pulled out a folder. Ashley and I found a great condo complex, senior living. Super nice. They have activities, meal plans, everything taken care of. We got you some brochures. He handed them over. I flipped through. Glossy photos of elderly people playing bingo, eating institutional food, smiling dead smiles. We're not suggesting you need assistance. Ashley jumped in. Just that it might be easier, more social. You'd make friends. I have friends. But out here you're so isolated. Carol said, if something happened, no one would know. I manage fine for now, Marcus said, but Dad, he caught himself. Uncle Rob, you're 67. Things change. What if you fell, had a stroke? We worry. So, you want me to move into an old folks' home? A senior community. Ashley corrected. It's different in my house. Here it comes. Marcus exchanged a look with Ashley. We thought if you were open to it, we could buy the house from you at fair market value, obviously. That way, it stays in the family, and you'd have the cash for the condo plus plenty extra. You'd buy it with what money? We'd get a mortgage. Based on our income and the equity, you can't afford a mortgage on this place. The insurance job doesn't pay enough. Marcus's face tightened. I'm doing fine. You tried to add yourself to my bank account 2 months ago. Don't lie to me. Silence. Ashley's mouth opened. Carol looked confused. That was a misunderstanding, Marcus finally said. A forged power of attorney is a misunderstanding. I was trying to help by stealing from me. I wasn't stealing. His voice rose. I was trying to make sure you didn't do something stupid with your money. Stupid like keeping it for myself. Stupid like hoarding it while your family struggles. He stood up. Ashley's pregnant. We need a house. You have one you don't even need. But instead of helping us, you're clinging to it like some selfish old miser. Marcus. Carol tried to intervene. No, Mom. He needs to hear this. He's being selfish. Linda's dead. He doesn't have kids. What's he holding on to this for? Pride? Spite? Marcus, sit down, I said quietly. Why? So you can lecture me about responsibility. I've been responsible. I work 60 hours a week. I'm starting a family. But I can't get ahead because everything's too expensive and people like you sit on resources you don't need. I worked for this house, and I'm not asking for a handout. He slammed his hand on the table. I'm offering to buy it, but you won't even consider it because you'd rather die alone in this house than help your own nephew. That's enough, Carol said, standing. Both of you. Is it? Marcus turned to her. He helped me through college, loaned me money, made me think he actually cared. But when I really need him, he's got nothing but excuses. I said no to you moving in, I said. That's not the same as not caring. It's exactly the same. Ashley stood beside him. This house has 3 bedrooms. We asked to rent one. You said no. We asked to buy the place. You said no. You'd rather keep all this space for yourself than give your great nephew a good start in life. Your son will have a fine start. That's your job, not mine, our job. Marcus stepped closer. Right. Well, here's something for you to think about, Uncle Rob. When you're really old, really sick, really need help, don't call me. You made your choice. A house over family. You're the one making that choice, Marcus, by demanding I give you something I'm not willing to give. Then we're done here. He grabbed Ashley's hand. Mom, you coming? Carol looked between us, torn. Then she stood. Robert, you're being unreasonable. Marcus is right. You don't need this big house. The least you could do is consider helping them. The least I could do, I repeated. Carol, I helped pay for his education. I co-signed his car. I loaned him money he never paid back. How much is enough? It's not about enough, she said. It's about being there for family when they need you. Unless what they need is something I'm not willing to give, then I guess we know where we stand. She grabbed her coat. Merry Christmas, Robert. Enjoy your empty house. They started for the door. Marcus suddenly turned back. You know what? I tried being nice. I tried asking, but you're too stubborn to see reason. He walked toward me fast. I stood up from my chair. You're going to give me this house, he said, voice low. One way or another. You're old. Things happen to old people. They get confused. They sign things they don't remember signing. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how it's going to be. He shoved me hard. I stumbled backward into the Christmas tree. Ornaments shattered. The tree rocked. Ashley screamed. Carol froze. I caught myself on the chair and straightened up. That was a mistake, I said. What are you going to do? Call the cops on Christmas Eve on your own nephew? Marcus's face was red, twisted. I'm your family. They'll see an old man who's confused, who probably fell on his own. You've got no proof of anything. I pulled out my phone. Actually, I said calmly, I have 20 minutes of proof. I turned the screen toward him. The camera app was open recording. Had been since they arrived. The color drained from his face. That's you can't. I can. I did. I looked at Ashley, at Carol. All of it. The demands, The threats, the assault, every word. You were recording us. Carol's voice was shrill. Your own family? You mean the family that just assaulted me? Yes. Marcus lunged for the phone. I stepped back. Tom, I said into the phone. I wasn't recording. I was on a call. Did you get all that? Tom's voice came through the speaker, clear and calm. Every word, Rob. Assault, attempted coercion, threats. That's enough for charges. You son of a bitch, Marcus breathed. No, I said. I'm the man you just attacked in his own home on Christmas Eve while trying to steal his property. I didn't. You forged legal documents, attempted bank fraud, just physically assaulted me in front of witnesses. I looked at Carol and Ashley. Are you two going to claim you didn't see it? Ashley burst into tears. Carol looked like she'd been slapped. Robert, please, she said. He didn't mean. He meant every word. You heard him one way or another. That's a threat, Carol. He's your nephew, who just told me he hopes I die confused and alone so he can forge my signature. I felt calm, cold, clear. Get out, all of you. Uncle Rob, Marcus tried. I said, get out. Tom's on his way. If you're still here when he arrives, I'm pressing charges tonight. For what? I barely touched you. Assault on a senior citizen. That's a felony in Michigan. Add the fraud, the threats. We're looking at real prison time. You wouldn't. I held his stare. Try me. Something in my face must have convinced him. Or maybe it was the sound of Tom's truck pulling up outside, tires crunching on snow. Marcus grabbed his coat. Ashley was already out the door crying. Carol paused in the doorway. You're really doing this? Choosing a house over your family? No, I said. I'm choosing myself over people who only want me for what I can give them. There's a difference. She left without another word. Tom came in 30 seconds later, followed by a patrol car. The local sheriff's department responding to Tom's call about an assault in progress. You okay? Tom asked, checking me over. I'm fine. Tree took the worst of it. The deputies took my statement, watched the recording, both the phone video and the house cameras. Took photos of the broken ornaments, my torn shirt sleeve, the red mark on my arm where Marcus had grabbed me. You want to press charges? The younger deputy asked. I looked at Tom.
He gave me a small nod. Yes,
I said. All of them. The assault tonight. The attempted fraud from November. That's your nephew, right? The older deputy said. Just want to make sure? That's exactly why I'm pressing charges, I said. Because he thought being family meant he could do whatever he wanted. They left to go find Marcus. I sat down heavily. Hell of a Christmas, Tom said. Yeah, you did the right thing? Doesn't feel like it yet. It will. He started picking up broken ornaments. For what it's worth, Rob, I'm proud of you. Most people would have caved. I'm too old to cave and too tired of being pushed around. The next few days were a blur. Marcus was arrested Christmas Day. The bank fraud charges were filed. A restraining order was issued. Janet handled everything with brutal efficiency. Marcus' employer found out about the fraud charges. Insurance companies don't like employees who commit forgery. He was terminated pending investigation. The insurance commissioner opened their own inquiry about his license. Ashley moved back in with her parents. Carol stopped speaking to me entirely. The local paper ran a small story. Man arrested for elder fraud assault. The comment section filled up with people sharing their own stories of family members who'd tried to take advantage of elderly relatives. I wasn't alone. January brought a cold snap. I spent it replacing ornaments, repairing the tree and fixing the damage. Tom came over most days. We didn't talk much, just worked. In February, Marcus pleaded guilty to attempted fraud and simple assault. Part of the plea deal, no prison time, but probation, fines, mandatory counseling, and a permanent restraining order. He had to stay 500 wide from me and the property. His insurance license was revoked. Last I heard, he was working at a car dealership selling used Hondas. In March, Carol called. I almost didn't answer. Robert, her voice was small. Can we talk? We're talking now in person, please. She came to the lake house on a gray afternoon. We sat on the porch, jackets on. Coffee warming our hands. I was wrong, she said. About Marcus, about you, about all of it. I waited. He told me you were being difficult, that you were old and stubborn and needed help managing your affairs. I believed him. She stared at her coffee. I'm his mother. I wanted to believe him. And now I know he was using me, using all of us. His lawyer told me about the other attempts. He tried to get passwords to your investment accounts, Tried to be added to the house deed, all of it. Before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, he'd been planning this for months. I know you knew. She looked up. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Silence. No, she finally said I wouldn't have. Not until I saw what he really was. Tears started. I chose him over you, my own brother. I told you that you were selfish, that you should give him what he wanted. And all along he was stealing from me. Yes. Can you forgive me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Eventually I said, but not yet. You need to understand what that felt like, Carol. Being called selfish for not wanting to be robbed. Having my own sister's side with someone who was threatening me. I'm so sorry. I know, but sorry doesn't erase it. We finished our coffee in silence. She left with a promise to keep in touch, to give me space, to earn back trust instead of demanding it. I haven't seen Marcus since Christmas. Probably never will. Sometimes I wonder if I should feel guilty about what happened to him. Then I remember his face when he shoved me. His voice saying one way or another, and the guilt evaporates. He made his choices. I made mine. It's April now. The ice is breaking up on the lake. Tom and I are planning to get the boat ready for fishing season. Janet sends me legal updates. I don't really need the restraining order is permanent. The fraud conviction is on record. It's done. The house is quiet. But it's my quiet, my space, my life. People ask if I'm lonely out here. Sometimes I am. But lonely and alone aren't the same thing. Linda understood that. This place holds our memories, our dreams, our life together. I'm not giving that up for anyone. Last week, I updated my will. Everything goes to a scholarship fund for kids who need help with college. No strings, no family drama, no entitled relatives. Just help for people who actually need it and appreciate it. Tom asked if I was sure about cutting out the whole family. There's family, I told him. And then there's people who share your DNA. I'm done confusing the two. He nodded. What about your great nephew, Marcus's kid? I thought about that. His father tried to steal from me, assaulted me, and threatened me. Why would I leave him anything? Sins of the father, no protection. If I left that kid money, Marcus would find a way to get it. This way, he can't touch it. Maybe that's the kindest thing I can do. The sun's setting now over the lake. Pink and orange and purple. The kind of sunset Linda loved. I'm sitting on the dock with my coffee, watching the ice break apart and drift away. I'm 67 years old. I own my home. I have my independence. And I learned that standing up for yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. The people who truly care about you don't demand you give up everything to prove it. They respect your boundaries, your choices, your right to live your own life. Everyone else. They're just waiting for you to die, so they can fight over what's left.